Welcome to the Temple of Nerds podcast, your one-stop shop for everything Star Wars, Nintendo, Marvel, and anything else video games, nerdy TV, or just straight up awesome we hear about. I'm D-Bills.
And I'm TJ, and this week we're going to be talking about Ahsoka showing up in Disney Plus's The Mandalorian, and what that means for a galaxy far, far away, and who is that Thrawn guy? Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Oh, Admiral Thrawn. TJ's going to tell us all about that, because honestly, I don't really know who he is. We're also going to be sharing our holiday wish lists and what new games we're looking forward to this month.
All right, so strap in, pop those headphones in your ear holes, and get ready for 2 nerds talking your ear off.
Oh, yeah. So we start off every show, just, well, you know, all 2 shows.
All 2.
All 2 of them.
Every single one of them.
We're going to do our best to start every show with what we've been playing recently. So, TJ, what have you been playing this week? I know you said you didn't have a lot of time.
Yeah, but I haven't had too much time. Obviously, I'm still playing Age of Calamity. I'm still loving it. But the main thing that I've been playing, and I've been kind of picking it up off and on for the past month or so, is that game Hades.
Okay.
The main reason I bought it was because I saw that it was nominated for a bunch of stuff at the Game Awards this year. And I've heard people talking about it on Twitter and stuff, just random YouTubers and people that I follow been playing it and loving it. A couple friends are playing it as well. And man, it's awesome. It is absolutely an awesome indie game. Is it an indie game? I'm pretty sure it's technically an indie game.
Sure.
But it is
what
cool.
type of game is it? Because I've actually never heard of it.
It's a roguelike.
Okay.
So The whole premise of it is your main character, whose name is Zagreus. This is all like Greek mythology, by the way.
Sure.
Zagreus, who is Hades' son, is trying to escape hell. And it doesn't seem like he really has any reason to. I think he's just being a teenager and is like, no, I don't want to be with Dad. But so you have to go through all the levels of hell, and you have to do it all in one run.
Yeah.
So every single time you die, you gain, all these different resources and stuff and more abilities. But as you play, your loadouts. So like you could be using a sword, and then the first like power up that you get could be coming from Zeus, for example.
Okay.
And as you go, you look for like different power ups that you can get, because you get like 1 power up per floor or per like area, I guess you could say. And, and you kind of mod your character based on what you find. And, you can buy resources and stuff. You can buy health. You can buy just pretty much anything. And as you go, you just get stronger and stronger and stronger. And until you reach the end, which I haven't done yet. I'm pretty sure the final boss is Hades. But even after that, after you beat the final boss and you do it all in one run, there's still more.
Of course, there's always more.
Like, it's so that's the roguelike. You ever played Binding of Isaac?
Actually, no.
Ooh, that's one that you should play.
I know. I've heard from a lot of people.
That's what got me into roguelikes. It's a lot of fun, but it's the same type of thing. Like, your game changes every single time.
Yeah.
You're never on the same map. Like, the map layout isn't the same. The enemy layout isn't the same. The way that you have to fight the boss is never the same. Mostly because you get different power-ups and stuff, and it changes you drastically.
Very cool.
So I highly recommend Hades, and I think it's only like $20-$25.
Okay. I'll check it out.
And you can get it on Steam. You can get it on PlayStation. I think you can get it on Switch at this point.
There you go.
But it's a lot of fun.
Let's see. I'm still playing a lot of Destiny. Finally got that stasis. Oh,
you finally got it?
I finally got it.
So everybody isn't cheating anymore.
No, they're still cheating.
Oh, okay.
They're always cheating. Yeah,
oh, okay.
yeah. No, if they're better than me, they're cheating. That's just how it works.
Yep. Well, I played a few rounds of Halo in my day.
Oh yeah. Yep. If they're better than you, they're cheating. If you're better than them, you're just better.
Yeah.
There's you're not cheating.
Oh no, you're the best.
No, never. Right. What else have I been playing? I picked up. Oh shit! What was I playing? Oh, Fallout 76. Yep. I think I talked about that last time.
That, though? Yeah, but how do you like that?
I mean, at its base, it's a Fallout game. Okay. I mean, it's not a great Fallout game. Yeah. It's definitely the worst of the new Fallout games.
Yeah.
But if you just want more Fallout, it's there for you.
Yeah.
The Brotherhood of Steel stuff is pretty cool. They just added that, I think, last week.
Okay.
Yeah. I saw, actually, jumping into the news section of our podcast here, I saw an article that said that somebody on Reddit a couple of months ago asked Bethesda if they would add wheelchairs into the game. Not for characters to be in necessarily, but just like this guy's in a wheelchair. He didn't see wheelchairs anywhere in the game when you're decorating your house, or just like as you're exploring the world. Apparently there's no wheelchairs anywhere in Virginia.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean,
but
I haven't necessarily explored Virginia recently. I don't know.
So either way, Bethesda actually added, kind of quietly, they added wheelchairs as a constructible like thing that you can put in your house or your little zone.
That's really
so
cool.
That's a cool little bit of like fan service and something that Bethesda did hopefully without really looking for any recognition or anything like that. So I thought that was kind of cool.
That is really cool. I enjoy that. I enjoy that they actually engage with their audience in a way like that.
Yeah,
where they listen.
Yeah, it's always nice when a big company like that seems to be listening.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't listened about getting rid of all the major glitches in every single one of their games, but they're putting wheelchairs.
It's a feature.
Oh, that's right.
It's not a glitch; it's a feature.
That's right. Flying mammoths in Skyrim was the highlight of.
Yeah. I'm also still playing Dragon Ball Z Legends, of course. Okay. I think that's going to be something that I'm playing every single time.
Yeah.
Because it's just an easy 10-minute thing. But I don't know how much Dragon Ball Super you watched, if any. Did you watch Dragon Ball Super? No. So at the end of what they've turned into anime, because obviously there's still more manga and comics after the anime is over. But at the end of what they turned into anime for Dragon Ball Super, Goku gets this super ultra instinct where he is essentially just fighting on base instinct, and he's not thinking about how to move his body, he's just doing it. So there's one point where he's fighting a guy, and usually he's fighting him, looking at him face to face, but with ultra instinct he's just kind of looking away and casually Neo in it from the Matrix. But they just added that to Dragon Ball Super to the Dragon Ball Legends.
The game,
yeah, so that's cool, and I'm working on unlocking him. Of course it's freaking impossible, and they're
unless you spend that big bucks.
You could just buy it for $40 now, or you could spend, the next 6 years trying to unlock it. But hey. All right. So I am very interested to know if you heard this news story that I stumbled across earlier this week.
Do tell.
So, Pokemon card.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going back a little bit. I don't know if you still play Pokemon cards.
I don't, but
I know you still play Pokemon games.
I'm fairly well versed in Pokemon knowledge.
So I guess if you haven't played with Pokemon cards that often, your answer to when was the last Kadabra card that you saw was. You probably don't know. It was probably
I'm thinking base set.
Right.
Oh my god, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yes, it turns out that Kadabra in Japanese. So Kadabra is one of the psychic Pokemon, right?
Yep.
And he evolves from Abra and evolves into Alakazam.
Abracadabra,
Abracadabra, Alakazam. Yeah. Right. So it's kind of a magic, reference and all that. But apparently their Japanese names are also references to actual magicians, or close enough that they could potentially be references to actual magicians.
Yeah, just like Pokemon does with pretty much everything. They just slightly will reference something just so that you understand what's going on with that Pokemon.
Or so that you know how to pronounce it, right?
Yeah.
My wife is always asking me, how do you pronounce this Pokemon? I'm like, oh, well, it's a, Trubbish. He's a bag, and he's a thing of rubbish, so Trubbish, Great. Okay, so Kadabra in Japanese is apparently, where did Yoon Geller or something? Jan Geller? Yungeller. I think I had. Oh yeah, here we go. Jan Geller or Jan Gerer, all one word, right? And there is an illusionist and magician named Uri Geller. Okay.
Yeah, I do know what you're talking about, but
yep.
I don't
and
I
back
don't know
in
how
the
this
early,
is going to conclude here.
Back in the early 2000s, back in the early 2000s, Uri Geller decided that he was going to sue or open a suit against Nintendo for using his name in their game. So Nintendo stopped making Kadabra cards. So there hasn't been a Kadabra card in the Pokemon series since like probably 2003.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So we're getting into like Rocket territory for cards.
Yep.
Like
yep. So I think the last Kadabra card that was made was the Dark Kadabra card.
Okay. Yep. That would be around the Rocket series, yeah.
Right. So all Abra cards could evolve into Alakazam directly instead of going through Kadabra, because it was so hard to get a Kadabra card because you had to buy an old Kadabra card because they weren't even in packs.
What?
Yes. So Uri Geller has recently, this article is from yesterday, so actually fairly recently, has apparently come out, and after getting years and years of, fan mail from people calling him an idiot and an asshole and a dick, has finally come out and apologized to all Pokemon fans everywhere, removed his lawsuit, and given Nintendo permission to start printing the card again.
Yo, do you know how much those cards are going to be worth?
That's what he said. He actually
really?
said...
He said that?
Yeah, let's see.
Well, it's... Go ahead.
The quote in this email, which I don't know, or in this, this is an article from IGN, so I trust them. They're pretty trustworthy. But the quote in this article says, "Due to the tremendous volume of emails I am still getting, begging me to allow Nintendo to bring back Kadabra/Jan Geller, I sent a letter to the chairman of Nintendo giving them permission to relaunch Uri Geller Kadabra Jan Geller worldwide." And he said that it's probably going to be one of the rarest cards, and actually will hopefully bring him a lot of recognition and get his name out there more. We're talking about it. We're just two schmucks.
Yeah, he's clout chasing.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially because Pokemon cards have gotten so huge again.
Right.
Just like this past month.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all because of YouTubers. We may have talked about this already. The YouTubers like Jake Paul.
Yeah.
Or was it Jake Paul? No, it was Logan Paul. Logan Paul and like Pay Money Wubby, and I think Pokemon's about to do it too. Moist Critical, I don't know if you know who he is. They're all like spending thousands and thousands of dollars on these unopened boxes of booster packs.
Sure.
And like pulling $20,000 Charizard cards.
Right.
Which I had. I mean, if you're looking for first edition ones specifically,
yeah.
Like a regular Charizard card's probably gonna get you like $40 maybe. I don't know the exact prices, but first editions are the ones that you're going for, and these booster packs are full of first edition cards. Mm-hmm. And they're just opening them on live streams and selling them and just making
because I'm sure they're buying the booster packs from 15 years ago. The unopened.
That's exactly what it is, and and I guess there actually is a lot of fraud going on with it as well. People opening up and resealing the boxes and stuff and filling them with older packs or younger packs, I guess you could say. Even. But man, it's kind of crazy that it's gotten so big again, and it's literally just because a couple YouTubers started talking about it,
right,
and doing it, and I remember when I was first collecting those cards, and my parents would say, "This is a fad. This is gonna go away in a couple years. You don't need these," and now I wish I had them still.
Yeah,
like
here we are in 2020, wishing we still had all this stuff.
Yeah, and it's just it's amazing that it's lasted this long. Actually, I got a Pokemon card right here.
I see it.
It's Detective Pikachu.
Oh, there you go.
I got it when I went to go see that movie in theaters.
That's a pretty good movie.
Coincidentally, the last movie that I saw in theaters before the pandemic.
Oh,
sad that that was my last movie.
Yeah.
No, was it? No. That wasn't it. It was another video game movie. It was Sonic.
Sonic.
That's what it was. It was Sonic. Wow.
That was a disappointment. That was a terrible movie. Oh my goodness.
Really? You think so?
I didn't like it. I don't know. I need to watch it again, I think, but I was not a fan.
I mean, it definitely wasn't a great movie, but it certainly wasn't. I thought that it lived up to exactly what it was going to be.
Okay, yeah.
Everybody was worried when we saw that first render of Sonic and he had like teeth. and then they changed it. But like they listened to the fans, they changed it, and it made a decent movie.
Yep.
I mean, it's not one that I'm going to go out and buy.
No.
But
no.
So I actually have a bit of a news story here to talk about as well.
Okay.
So you know about the lack of PlayStation 5s.
I've heard.
And how scalpers have been getting them and reselling them at triple the price.
Triple the price. That happens with every single new system for the last couple of years.
It's pretty normal. However, something that really happened in droves this time was that people were using bots to buy in high quantities.
Really? Okay.
So these people were getting their bots, and then as soon as those PS5s went live, those bots were buying them. And we're finding out now that this is exactly what's been going on, because a group of them recently released a statement.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's all mad at them, of course, rightfully so.
These botters, the people who are,
They are claiming that they have hired a whole bunch of people, and that every PlayStation 5 that they got was done manually. There's no way. Because they've got like over 2,500 of them.
Yeah.
And there's no way that, like, unless they literally hired like 4,000 people and got them all to be on their computer at the exact same time, then there's literally no way that they would have been able to get 2,500. There's prominent people like on YouTube, rich people, and like just everybody who can't get the PS5 still, and these people are selling them for $800, $900, $1,000, and they released a statement claiming that they did it all manually, and that they're kind of pulling like a Robin Hood type thing, where steal from the rich, give to the poor, but they're not giving PS5s to the poor. They're claiming that because of the pandemic, a lot of people are out of work, and we are hiring and paying all of these people to buy resell PlayStation 5s. And what's happening is these companies now that are resellers are contacting YouTubers to try to get ads into their YouTubes to say, hey, buy a PS5 from these guys.
Yeah,
they're charging $800, but they're they're offering to pay these YouTubers for a sponsor thing, and that shows that they're not selling well. Go figure. They're playing the Robin Hood. We're gonna help all these people make some money, but they're also selling them at astronomical prices when people can't make money.
Right, $500 is a lot for a system ever.
And that's the base price.
$500 is a lot for a system when, to avoid getting into politics too much, $500 is a lot to get into when everybody's on welfare.
Yeah, and it just blows my mind that they're shocked.
Right. No way. We can't sell a system for $800.
So not only are they terrible people, but they're stupid. They're just like, I kind of hope that these people all just have a bunch of PS5s sitting in their garage, unable to sell, because that's karma.
Yep. And they're never going to be able to sell them for
no.
It's not like they're going to become collectors. It's not like they're limited edition PS5s.
No.
Because at some point they're going to come out with more PS5s. The price is going to go down to $400.
Yep.
Maybe $350. GameStop is going to be selling a used PS5 for $350, and you're going to be trying to sell me a brand new, day one PS5 for $600.
Not to mention the hardware is going to be updated by that point too.
Right, like you're going to have the PS5 Pro or something.
Well, not even that. I'm just saying like little tiny fixes within the system that we found out that
the fans
30%, 30% of PS5s, can't handle certain games or whatever for whatever reason.
Right.
Just that's hypothetical. But it's I can't believe it. It blows my mind.
And like when the Xbox One, just thinking off the top of my head, when the Xbox One came out, there was a day one edition.
Yeah.
So some of the controllers said day one, but I don't think either company did that this time.
Not that I've
So
heard
it's not like these PlayStations that they have sitting in their garages say that they're first edition PlayStations anywhere.
No.
Maybe they'll get somebody who wants to buy a PlayStation with a low serial number.
Yeah.
But if they have,
that's not really that collectible.
Right.
Like your typical collector isn't going to be like, oh man, I need a low serial number or else I'm not going to be able to get this.
Yeah, these aren't T-Birds. These aren't cars.
That's not how it worked. Like if they were like a Spider-Man Miles Morales edition, then those are going to sell, and they're going to be even higher in price.
Right.
10 years down the road, especially if it's sealed.
Yeah.
But
nope.
I don't know. Blows my mind.
Yeah.
Blows
maybe in 15 years when they're on the PS17 and it's the PlayStation is a room in your house, they'll be able to make some money off of them.
And that's going to happen.
Right.
I can almost guarantee you that's going to happen. You're going to be able to walk into a room without any headset on or anything and just be immersed in your game.
Yeah. Maybe then they'll be able to sell some, retro PlayStation 5 still in box.
Honestly, maybe.
Yep.
I mean, imagine getting a sealed box of a original Nintendo. Sealed, that'd be...
Don't even. Yeah. No. Yeah. I've got my 8-bit here, but it's obviously not sealed.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on from the news, kind of games that are coming out soon. With Thanksgiving having passed, Animal Crossing is getting ready for its winter update. So we'll see those nice orange colors change from that to the bleak white of winter.
I'm definitely gonna have to get back into it for that.
Yeah. I have to figure out what to do with all of my Halloween shit that I have up in my Animal Crossing island. Because now in Animal Crossing New Horizons, you can put stuff on your island.
Yeah.
You couldn't do that in the old games. Mm-hmm. You couldn't put furniture outside. But now I've got a little Halloween section over here that I've now got to pick up and put away. Oh, woe is me. How tough is that going to be?
How dare we do manual labor in our video games?
Oh my goodness, yeah. And I got to get ready for that Christmas stuff. I'm saying, I actually have people visiting my island,
I'll visit your island, D-Bills.
I'll
log back on. My character will have shaggy hair and
yeah.
And hopefully a full beard.
Yeah, well, we can only hope. Wouldn't that be great if our characters actually aged in Animal Crossing?
That'd be nice. I'm going gray.
Right. Walking with a limp because you have bed sores because you haven't gotten out of bed for 3 months.
Hopefully, one of my villagers, Renee, I think she's a hippo or a rhino.
Has left.
Hopefully, she's leaving soon. I hated her.
Yep.
I tried hitting her with my bug net so many times, and she would not leave.
She wouldn't leave.
No.
Yeah. Okay. So what are you looking forward to for either getting for Christmas or just looking forward to coming up soon to getting?
It's out already, but I haven't gotten it yet. But I really want to get Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory.
Okay.
Have you heard about that at all?
I have heard about it. I still have yet to play any Kingdom Hearts games. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Especially
that's how you felt about me last week with Mass Effect.
But the big problem is, though, all of the Kingdom Hearts games are on Xbox Game Pass.
Are they?
So I just have to download them. Yeah.
Just do it.
I mean, I think it's the HD remakes or whatever, because it's 1 and 1.5 or whatever, and 2 and 2.5. But still, they're there. so I can play them.
I think the 1.5 and 2.5 each have 2 full games.
Right.
And then 1 game that's represented only by its cutscenes.
Mm-hmm.
So you get the whole story if you play and watch all of it.
Right.
But there's good luck. There's a lot to Kingdom Hearts.
Yes. I've tried to do the Cliff Notes version and just wiki a bunch of stuff about Kingdom Hearts, and it's like Sora, who might be him, who's been attached to him, who, you know, has his memories and was the dark heart of this guy, and I'm like, no, I'm done. Okay, moving on.
If you ever start really playing Kingdom Hearts and you want to talk about it, we will literally have to do a 4-hour podcast, and I'll explain everything to you.
Stay tuned for the
Stay tuned for our 12-hour live stream explaining the story of Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, Temple of Nerds does lore.
But yeah, so I want to get Melody of Memory. It does actually expand on the story, even though it's a rhythm game.
Yeah.
But you know, I need to consume all things Kingdom Hearts, so I need to get it.
Sure.
And it's one of those games where like I don't like being spoiled for anything.
Yeah.
Pretty much that's just Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, Zelda for me when it comes to not, you know, wanting to be spoiled, and Star Wars obviously.
And Star Wars.
But yeah, so that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. I'm hoping that I get, you know, either a gift card or it for Christmas, but
sure,
not super expecting it. You don't get a lot of gifts. You don't really need to.
Yeah.
But how about you? What are you looking forward to?
So my mommy actually texted me this morning and asked me what I wanted. So I picked out a nice Stream Deck. So that'll be. I'm really looking forward to getting a Stream Deck. That. I'm also looking forward to picking up Valhalla, Assassin's Creed.
Oh, Assassin's Creed. Okay.
Yeah. Just trying to figure out what I'm going to get it on. I think I'm going to get it on PC, but I just got to make sure that it can handle it first.
Yeah,
but
it's a big game.
Yeah, it's a big game. It's a big game.
It's running on next-gen systems, too, so...
Oh, yeah. So it's probably out of control, but that game looks crazy.
It does look really good. I've only seen a handful of clips, but it looks... really cool. I haven't played Assassin's Creed since Black Flag.
Oh yeah,
which is
Black Flag was a good one.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of fell off the Assassin's Creed train.
Yeah, the other game that I'm looking forward to, which is actually I think it's coming out next week, or on the 8th maybe. I looked it up earlier and I had it written down, but I lost it. But Cyberpunk 2077.
Do you really think it's going to come out next week?
I don't know. We'll see.
That game has had so many
times?
That game's delays have had delays.
Right. Which I'm okay with, because I'm really nervous that this game is that Cyberpunk is one of those games, kind of like No Man's Sky, where the developers, CD Projekt Red, are talking a big game and are going to release something that's super ambitious and doesn't deliver on the promises.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. And I think a lot of people are worried about that.
Yeah.
It's because this game has been hyped up, honestly, probably just as much as the Final Fantasy VII remake was hyped up.
Right.
Like when that came out. And that was a big, big fucking deal. But it's CD Projekt Red. Have you played The Witcher 3?
Yeah.
I have total faith in CD Projekt Red. The Witcher 3 is a phenomenal, phenomenal game. Nothing I did in that game felt like busy work. It was all just interesting and like fun, just actually fun.
Yeah.
Like you could go bring. I think one of the missions is you have to bring like a frying pan back to a woman, and that was fun.
Sure.
So I have faith in CD Projekt Red, and damn, the game looks good.
Yeah.
Like it looks fantastic. I know it's either leaked out or somebody got an early copy, and they were actually streaming it on Twitch for like 20 minutes. And they were streaming it on a PS4, and it looked like it was handling it really well. I mean, I know that it was originally supposed to be a PS4 game, but when they probably started as soon as they knew that the PS5 and the Xbox were coming out, that they really optimized it for that. But so the fact that it can still play well on a regular PS4 is solid. But I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be one that's going to be on the back burner for me, but it looks awesome.
Yep. So that's all I've got for wish lists and news and whatnot. Are you ready to get into the meat?
I think we're ready to get into the meat.
Okay, so we've only got 3 viewers on Twitch right now, but we're going to be talking about The Mandalorian. So if you haven't seen the latest episode of Mandalorian, I suggest you either leave or mute the stream. Also, if you're showing up on the podcast, we'll throw in some timestamps down at the bottom of our video this week for different information.
Let me write that down in this thing right now.
And if we don't, we'll make sure we get it in there at some point. But we'll put some timestamps in there, maybe for the Thrawn explanation for those of you who don't know who Thrawn is, and and then just basic episode spoilers so that you can skip around and get to the parts that you need. But all right, do you have anywhere specific that you want to start, TJ?
No, in fact, I want you to talk about the episode first.
All right, so this was a huge episode. For a 40-minute show, I'm always amazed at how much they can fit into each episode. Mm-hmm. So we have our good friend, the Mandalorian, heading off to, I don't remember the name of the planet, but he is going to Corvus. He is heading off to Corvus to meet up with a Jedi who he knows that her name is Ahsoka Tano, but he's obviously never met her before. And it's hard to tell how big of a name she is in the galaxy at the time. I know, and TJ knows, that she's had a lot of influence on the way of the galaxy in the past. But I'm just, I'm interested at how much all these characters reach beyond what we see in the shows and the movies. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so he goes to this planet, and when he gets there, the planet, he was told that it was a forest planet, and the planet is just kind of looks like shit. Everything's burned. The forest is all turned to ash.
The way that I heard it best described was when they were describing the planet, you were expecting Rivendell, and we got Mordor.
Yes, that's a great way of describing it. So he shows up and meets up with the local town, heads in there and meets the kind of matriarch of the town. She's there torturing the villagers and kind of living the high life. And he asks her for information on this Jedi, and she hires Mando to go kill the Jedi. And he, obviously, being the smart man that he is, takes the contract, goes, finds Ahsoka, which I think they did an amazing job with how she looks.
She looks great.
Yeah,
absolutely,
she looks really good. One thing that I did see that I thought as well is that her tendrils are shorter in The Mandalorian than they were in. And I don't know if they're going to, maybe in a book or something, they explain how, because she's a Twi'lek, right?
Yeah.
Before I used
no, she's not. She's not a Twi'lek. I can't remember what the race's name is.
Okay. But anyways, do they cut those? Do they grow up or down based on their age? But whatever.
Honestly, I think it's just a design decision.
Aesthetic,
she's moving around and swinging around and flipping and stuff, and those are gonna get in the way. So I think it was honestly just a design.
Yeah. But I also found it interesting that Mando refers to her as a Jedi, and she never corrects him.
Yes.
So I'm getting a little bit off topic now. I'm moving away from describing the show. Yep. I don't know how much we want to go into shot by shot the whole episode.
We'll get there. I've got some notes.
Yeah.
But keep going.
Yep. So Mando, the payment that Mando is going to receive for finding Ahsoka is a fully 100% Beskar spear. And I don't know how much, again, this is known in the galaxy, that Beskar is as effective against lightsabers as we find out. My wife made the point of maybe that's why the Mandalorians wear Beskar.
It is.
Yeah.
The Mandalorians are the way they are because everything that they equip to themselves is solely meant to fight Jedi. They even mention it in the episode that the Jedi are the Mandalorians' sworn enemies, just through history. So obviously they're not really fighting with each other anymore, but in history they have.
They have fought a lot.
This is kind of going into the Legends book too, the technically non-canon stuff. But that's really the whole purpose of the way the Mandalorian do their thing is because they need to fight Jedi.
Right.
So everything that they have is meant to trip up a Jedi. So Beskar to block. They have the flamethrowers, which were pretty effective for him in this episode. I mean, Ahsoka definitely kicked his ass.
Yes.
but he held his own.
He did hold his own. He always seems to.
Yeah, somehow. It's that plot armor.
Yep. So he goes off and finds Ahsoka. They fight for a bit. They kind of come to a standoff. I think that's when she sees the child for the first time, and that kind of snaps her out of her fighting style there. They then talk for a little bit about the child and who he is and where he came from. She does some force melding with him. We find out the child's name, which is a huge thing.
Yes. Grogu.
Sounds kind of like a Game of Thrones character, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah, but I mean, it just kind of follow the same line as Yoda, Grogu. The other one was named Yaddle.
Right.
But it's it's a Star Wars name.
Yeah,
for sure.
So we find out that he is obviously 50, we know that, but we find out a little bit about where he comes from and that he was on Coruscant and doing some training in the Jedi Temple, and that he somehow managed to escape the siege on the Jedi Temple and escape Anakin's attack and Anakin's culling of the young ones in episode 3. And we find out a little bit more about his powers, and Ahsoka actually goes as far to say that she won't train him because of his connection to Mando, and how that she doesn't actually come right out and say it, but she implies that will drag him down the line of the dark side, and that she's seen the best of us get corrupted by their love and admiration for other people.
Yeah, who do you think she was talking about there?
Oh my goodness, I got choked up when she said that. I was especially watching Clone Wars, and that last episode of Clone Wars where she's burying all of her fallen clones, and just thinking back to that and her knowing that Vader is coming for her is just
what's interesting though, and I'm gonna go a little off topic here. You haven't gotten there yet in Rebels. Do you mind me saying anything?
Go for it.
She knows that Vader's coming for her in that episode of Clone Wars, but she does not know who Vader is.
No. Yeah.
She learns that in Rebels, and even then, when she learns it, it's still only implied that she knows.
Okay.
Because they fight.
Yeah, no, that I've read. I've read that because I did some reading up on Rebels because I wasn't sure I was going to watch it, but I've gotten some pressure from both you and some other people that I really need to watch Rebels, so I'm trying. But
I mean, the Ahsoka stuff, the Darth Vader stuff, and a bunch of other stuff is really unconsequential to being able to enjoy that, because that story is really about Ezra and Kanan,
right,
and Hera,
and
Sabine. It's about that crew.
Yes.
But But yeah, keep going.
Yeah. Let's see. So where did we get to? We got to
she doesn't want to train.
She's
Grogu.
not going to train him, right? So but she does agree, if I remember correctly, that she will help Mando find other Jedi who might be willing to train him, right? But in order to give this information, she wants his help in freeing the town.
Yep.
So they come up with a plan, or a semi-plan, as much as Mando makes plans, and head back to the town and fight the leader of the town. Ahsoka gets into a really nice lightsaber battle and Beskar battle with this lady. And I don't know about you, but I am a huge Kill Bill fan, and when that shot pulled back the first time, that with Ahsoka's white lightsaber out behind her, and that, I can't remember the lady's name, I wish I had it written down, but
I think they just called her the Magistrate.
The Magistrate, okay, and the Magistrate had her Beskar spear out. I was just waiting for that fight where the bride in Kill Bill is fighting Lucy Liu's character.
Yeah.
And just like, I was just waiting for that song to start playing.
I mean, it was definitely modeled after, if not specifically that, definitely just samurai movies in general.
Yes.
I mean, Star Wars has always been kind of a mesh of sci-fi, westerns, and samurais. Like,
right.
That's really what Star Wars is.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even call it sci-fi. I would call it science fantasy.
Yes.
Space fantasy.
Yep.
It's not even science. It's just space magic.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So that was a really good lightsaber fight, and it wasn't even technically a lightsaber fight because they both didn't have lightsabers.
No.
But either way, that was a really nice fight. If a little slow for an actual Jedi fight, like we've seen Yoda fight Dooku at full speed. We've seen, Yoda and the Emperor's fight was a little bit more space magic.
Ridiculous, yeah.
But like Obi-Wan and Anakin's fight was pretty fast paced.
Oh yeah.
But this fight was a little bit slower, but really fit the show nicely.
And I mean, you got to keep in mind though, she didn't want to kill her.
Right.
Like at least right away.
At least right away, because she needed some really important information that she got at the end, which was really some huge information that we got.
Yes.
And TJ can go into more about exactly who this guy is and what his place in the galaxy is in canon at the time of this episode.
Yeah.
Because Ahsoka asks directly, not who is your master, but where is your master, Grand Admiral Thrawn?
All right. Well, we should just. I'm just gonna go right into it because we're here. I don't want to prolong it anymore because there's kind of a little bit to talk about. So Grand Admiral Thrawn makes his first appearance on TV or just any media in current canon in season 3 of Rebels, and he's the main villain for the rest of the series. I think the series is only 4 seasons.
Yeah.
And he's the main antagonist in the last 2 seasons.
Yep.
The biggest thing about him is that this man is always 3 steps ahead of whoever he's after. And that shows up a lot in Rebels. The interesting thing, though, is that he was originally written in books. Mm-hmm. There's a handful of Thrawn books written by a man named, I believe, is Timothy Zahn. And they're legends now. They're not canon. And then they brought Thrawn from Legends into main canon. Brought Timothy Zahn back to write more Thrawn books that were actually canon now. So I haven't read those books. I don't know too much about his backstory per se. But I do know about what happened with him in Rebels. And his main focus was, I'm pretty sure, was just to eliminate the Jedi.
Yes.
So let's see. Where are you in Rebels right now?
I just met Ahsoka, so I'm on like episode 9 of season 1.
Okay. Have you seen these space creatures called the Purrgil or the Purrgil?
Not yet.
Okay, so they're these huge space octopus
type
things. And they're not well liked across the galaxy because they can go through hyperspace.
Oh.
So there's a whole episode where Ezra and the team meet up with these Purgles, and they find out that they're like kind of like whaling with these. They're like, I think they're using them for resources and stuff, and they're killing them. And of course, Ezra, being an animal lover, saves them, and it pays off because we see them again in the very last episode of Rebels, where they're fighting Thrawn. They have Thrawn pretty much not dead, but he's been defeated.
They've got him cornered. Yeah.
And Thrawn and Ezra are in, I think it's a Star Destroyer, and the herd, or I would even call it a pod of Purgil come up because he was trying to contact them through the Force.
Sure.
They wrap their tendrils into this Star Destroyer and right off into hyperspace. Thrawn is wrapped up in the tentacles, and Ezra is there too, making sure that he can't escape. And that's the last that you see of Ezra and Thrawn.
Okay.
The very end of that episode in Rebels, it's like a handful of years later, and Ahsoka meets up with Sabine, and their sole goal is to find Ezra.
Yeah.
So, that being said, we don't know how long after that scene plays. Like, there's a character who has a child. I'm not going to say that. But that kid looks like he's about 4 or 5.
Yep.
So you have to expect that it was probably about 5 years after Thrawn and Ezra zipped out into space into Lord knows where.
Sure.
So that when Ahsoka's asking where's Grand Admiral Thrawn, that could be her still looking for Ezra and Thrawn. And that brings up even more, because this is not the only connection that we've had to Ezra in this episode.
No.
There's, during the fight scenes, you know what the Loath Cats are, right?
I think so, but tell us anyway.
They're the little cats that live all over Ezra's home planet of Lothal.
Yep.
And throughout the series, they kind of represent him and his just being with Loath Cats. Yeah. And there were a couple of Loath Cats in this episode.
Okay.
Just kind of hiding in the little background, doing their own little thing.
Like hanging out.
Yeah, just doing their own little thing. And so that was another connection to Ezra. But then, if you go even back further into the episode, towards the beginning, when they were talking about Grogu and how he's going to be trained, she mentioned that they were going to go to a planet called Tython, where there's an ancient Jedi temple, and Grogu needed to reach out with the Force to contact Jedi. Any
Jedi, yes.
Well, the ones that we know of that are in existence right now are Ezra, Luke,
yep,
Cal Kestis, maybe. He's from the video game there, Jedi Fallen Order.
Yep.
And honestly, that's it that we know of.
That we know of. Sure.
You know, there's all these theories that Mace Windu may still be out there, but I don't know.
Sure. I kind of hope not, but we'll see.
Yeah. But so that's another connection to Ezra, and another way that we could be seeing, because we saw Ahsoka. We've seen Bo-Katan.
Yep.
We know that Ezra's out there, and Ahsoka's looking for Ezra. So I expect to, maybe not this season, but I think we're going to see Ezra, and I think we're going to see Sabine, and we're probably going to see Ahsoka again.
Oh, we're definitely going to see Ahsoka again, yeah.
And there's also the chance of seeing Luke.
Right.
Which would be really, really weird, depending on how they do it.
Yeah.
But so, that's the story on Thrawn. I think that Thrawn is going to be a major player. And maybe not, though. You know, he might not be a major player in this season. It might just be Moff Gideon.
Yeah.
Or at least this series. Because there's also the rumors of, I'm kind of going off topic, but there's also the rumor of them making a separate Ahsoka show.
Right.
Which would be really cool, but
I think it also depends on how long they want to drag the Mando story out.
Yeah.
Because we're not, the child, Grogu, is not going to be with the Mando forever. Probably.
No.
He's going to have to... He's either going to start his Jedi training or become, one of Mando's crew.
Well, that's actually a great segue. Grogu has been trained.
Right.
Grogu has been trained by many masters, they said.
By many masters.
So
do you... Okay, I'll let you keep going and I'll ask or do you want me to ask you a question?
Ask the question.
Okay, do you think that Grogu was trained up front with the other younglings, or do you think that Grogu was trained in back secretly and nobody knew who he existed?
That's a really good question. I never thought about that.
Yeah, because I was wondering, how can this creature, this, as far as we know, one of a kind now that Yoda is gone, how did this creature, has such a strong connection to Yoda in the sense that he's the same species, make it out of both Order 66 and Anakin coming to wipe the temple clean of Jedi?
Yeah.
How did Grogu make it out of the temple? And the only way that I can think that being possible is that he was kept secret from everybody.
Yeah.
And like a handful of the council knew that he existed, and a even smaller handful of the temple priestesses knew that he existed.
Yep. I think I'm gonna prescribe to that theory. That he's been kind of hidden. Think, but then you think about it, and who are the people that would know? Probably Yoda.
Definitely Yoda.
Yoda's head of the council.
Right.
Almost definitely Mace Windu. Windu is Yoda's second-hand man. They go back farther than Jedi Council.
Who does know and who could have known? Qui-Gon probably knew. Even though he wasn't on the council, I think Qui-Gon knew, because Qui-Gon is arguably one of the strongest Jedi ever.
Yes.
And
the first to learn how to become a Force ghost.
Right. So arguably one of the strongest Jedi ever. If he didn't know,
he does now.
Right. And he could have been on the council, but decided not to be because he didn't believe in the council. And we'll at some point down the line, we're going to do some lore episodes separate from the podcast, because I have a lot of feelings on Gray Jedi and who Qui-Gon actually was that we didn't get in the show.
Well, I'm actually going to get into that in this episode, a little bit. So the only other person that I think would know would be a Jedi by the name of Jocasta Nu.
Yes.
Do you know who she is?
I do know who she is.
She was the librarian who told Obi-Wan, if the planet doesn't exist in our records, then it doesn't exist. Right. She had access to everything.
Right, and that's what I'm getting at with the temple priests. Like I don't know if that's really what they're called, but the librarians and the keepers of the temple. There's got to be a handful of cleaning staff and catering staff that work the temple that know that he exists.
But she's the only one that I know of that has like a specific name.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure they all have specific names, but like they haven't had anything written about them. But. So, something that I was thinking about, kind of to go back to the Grogu was hidden and the Mace Windu thing, we don't know if Mace Windu died.
Right, we just assume.
And
I mean, he was thrown out of a God knows how many story building. But we've seen Jedi fall and jump from higher heights. I mean,
look at Darth Maul.
Right, and Anakin straight up jumped out of a cab and landed on another cab. So
the possibility is there, and I think if that was a situation, the first thing he would want to do, especially if this was such a important child, would be to go get that child.
Right.
And
maybe
protect it
maybe
somehow.
we don't know that he's alive, because this is going off into conspiracy theories and everything.
Oh yeah.
Maybe him and Yoda
put on our
were
tin
like
hats.
Right. Maybe Mace and Yoda planned, once he was dead, that his job was going to be protecting this child at any cost.
Well, he obviously failed a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
but so that was something that I was thinking about. But yeah, there's so many different possibilities. Did you also know that Grogu and Anakin are the exact same age?
Yes.
So theoretically, Grogu could be as powerful and as trained as Anakin was.
Yes.
But we don't know. Especially because
know.
When Ahsoka was going into his mind, she says a lot of this gets dark.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of his memories are dark. You can't see what's going on. And I think we brought this up in the last podcast. I think that Grogu is suppressing. I mean, they did say that he had to hide his powers.
Right, and how much of his, how long was he in the hands of the people we found him at the beginning of the show with?
Yeah.
How many times had he been passed from mercenary group to mercenary group?
Yeah.
What was his life being hidden from the Sith after he escaped the temple?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's getting very interesting. I just hope, and this is my only major hope, is that they don't steer away from the core of the show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it to be another episode of Star Wars. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yep.
This is something completely different.
Yeah, this is a space western.
Yes, and it's necessary to bring all of this information in.
Right, because it is still Star Wars.
Yes. And everything's connected in Star Wars. It's supposed to... The whole thing with George Lucas is Star Wars is supposed to rhyme. It's poetry.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is connected. But a galaxy is also really huge.
Really, really huge.
Yeah, so the fact that we're getting all this information and it's all tying back to all this stuff is cool, but I hope they know where that line needs to be drawn.
Mm-hmm.
I don't... We'll talk about that elsewhere.
Yeah.
Let me see what else I wanted to bring up here. Did you know that? Well, you just saw her in Rebels, but did you know that Ahsoka had white lightsabers?
I did know that. Yes,
so
I did know that.
She had her green
because
ones.
as she had green ones originally, based on her, because the lightsaber colors. I mean, they go back and forth on this in different iterations of Star Wars lore. But at one point, I know that the colors of the lightsabers corresponded to what Jedi class you were in.
Yeah.
But they also, Mace Windu, because Samuel L. Jackson can do whatever he wants, Mace Windu kind of throws a wrench into that, because Samuel L. Jackson said, my lightsaber has to be purple. And they said, fine, we'll give you a purple lightsaber. Nobody else has a purple lightsaber but you, but whatever.
And that's just so that he could see himself on that big battlefield.
Right.
when all the Jedi were fighting in that arena. That's the only reason he wanted it purple.
Right. So Ahsoka has white lightsabers because, and I mentioned this earlier, when I was surprised that she never corrected Mando when he called her a Jedi. She has white lightsabers because she's not affiliated with the Jedi Order, or she doesn't affiliate herself with the Jedi Order anymore.
Yes and no.
Right.
So, yes, she doesn't really affiliate with the Jedi at all anymore. But the way that she got those lightsabers, I guess I'll start with, do you know how a lightsaber turns red in canon?
It feeds off of the energy of the Force user, and the Force user then corrupts the crystal
they physically have to make it what they call bleeding. They bleed the lightsaber, and that's what turns it red, and that's something that every dark side Sith needs to do before he can fully become a Sith. In fact, in the Darth Vader comic books, that picks up right after Episode 3, he becomes Darth Vader, and he uses a blue lightsaber for a while.
Yeah.
And until he finds a lightsaber, kills a Jedi, finds a lightsaber, and bleeds it. Well, what Ahsoka did was the opposite. She killed an Inquisitor.
Okay.
And she took those crystals and purified them.
So she took a crystal that was already bled and turned it white. Yes.
You can't turn it back to its color. It's only going to be white.
Right.
And she's still using her dual wielding lightsabers, which is awesome. But yeah, so that was that. I'm glad that they kept those because that's what she has in Rebels, and that's what she has.
It's a huge part of who she is.
Yeah.
And it kind of leads into the Gray Jedi. Like, I don't know how much you know about the term Gray Jedi.
I do know a bit.
Yeah,
you're going to learn more in Rebels too.
Yeah. The Gray Jedi is kind of something that's never been made canon, as far as I'm aware, but it's something that I really, really like, and I love the thought of, like, Jedi who aren't necessarily good or evil, but kind of almost a chaotic neutral, in a sense, to use a D&D term. But
so that's actually perfect. Another great segue. Let's talk about that planet that they're going to. That Mando and Yoda, I almost called him Baby Yoda, Grogu are going to. It's a planet called Tython.
Yep.
This is a planet, once again, from Legends.
Yeah.
In Legends, Tython is a very, very Force-imbued planet.
Did you play all of the Fallen Order?
Yes.
It's because Tython's in that, is it not?
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
I don't believe so. I could be wrong, but I don't believe so.
All right.
But so the history goes that these spaceships from just started appearing across the galaxy at different planets, and it was attracting Force users. This is ancient times we're talking.
Right.
It attracted Force users. They all got onto these spaceships, and they all went to Tython.
Sure.
Where they created a sect of people that were called the Jedi. GED apostrophe AI, I think.
Yeah.
And they are essentially Gray Jedi. They are balanced to the point where this planet Tython had two moons. Oh my gosh. I can't think of. I can look this up. Oh wow, that just really messed up my lighting. Tython moons. It's like Ashla.
This is
Ashla and Bogan.
Okay.
And they were both very Force imbued as well. However, one was imbued with the dark, and one was imbued with the light.
Sure.
So whenever they would find that their alignment was shifting, whether they were going more dark or going more light, they would be sent to the opposite moon so that they could balance themselves.
Okay.
And that is Tython. And that was basically what started the Jedi as we know them now, but they were formerly called the Jedi. There's a weird accent there.
Sure.
So the fact that they're bringing this into canon is interesting. And Ashla and Bogan have actually been name dropped in Rebels.
Yeah.
You're going to meet a character named the Bendu.
Okay.
He is the one in the middle. And it's the exact same thing. So they're really bringing this kind of weird out there lore. Like they're risking things with this.
Yeah.
Which is very, very cool.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what they're doing. Again, as long as they don't cross that line. Don't cross that line. Something else I wanted to mention. Do you remember the episode, speaking actually of the dark, the light, and the middle, do you remember the episode of Clone Wars where Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Ahsoka go to this planet where they find the father, the daughter, and the son?
That it's I think it's like 3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
it's an arc.
That's my favorite arc of the show.
So
love that. Oh, it was so well done and so like just opened up so much avenues for the Force and the history of the Force, and yeah.
So that's kind of the same concept as we're talking about here.
Right.
But something that's interesting is that if you remember at the end of that arc, the daughter died and kind of imbued herself into Ahsoka.
Yep.
And Ahsoka owes her life to this girl.
Yes.
The daughter. And she is represented by a green owl. This green owl follows Ahsoka around everywhere. You're going to see it a lot in Rebels. Okay. I don't know if they did it so much in Clone Wars. I don't think they were going to go too far into it. And it's also never actually explicitly stated that this is the daughter. But this is called the Morai, I think it is. Morai. Sure. And it can not only follow Ahsoka around anywhere, but you find out in Rebels that it can kind of transcend time.
Okay.
But it is Ahsoka's guardian. There is a very quick shot in this episode when Mando is looking for Ahsoka before he finds her. There's an owl in that tree. And it's just so subtle. Like the owl turns its head and like looks, but it's just like a little thing. I'll try to put a clip in on when I edit this.
Sure.
But it's very subtle, and I noticed it right away. I was like, "Oh shit, where's the owl? There it is." But so that's. I'm happy that they did that. They're just really sticking. I mean, Ahsoka is Dave Filoni's baby.
Right.
Of course, he's going to put in all of her references.
And John Favreau just has such a acute attention to detail. Yeah. Probably from his years on the Avengers stuff, just having to pore through comics and the movies and make sure he's referencing things the correct way, that his attention to detail that he's shown in his other works are probably so helpful to what he's doing in The Mandalorian.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. It's and the thing is that with us crazy Star Wars fans, if you don't do it right, we're gonna call you out on it.
Yeah, we're gonna be upset.
But yeah, man, I can't wait to see what happens next episode. I'm not expecting it to be a crazy episode, but at the same time, we only have 3 episodes left.
Right.
So fingers crossed that it's gonna finish amazingly. Oh, and we didn't even mention. Mando did end up getting that spear.
He did?
And
he did?
And who has a lightsaber that he could be fighting?
Oh, yeah, the Darksaber.
The Darksaber.
Yep. So, that'll help.
Also kind of a funny callback to the Pedro Pascal's character in Game
of Thrones,
who also used a spear.
Hopefully Mando's head doesn't get crushed.
Yeah. Well, we won't see it. I'll be wearing his helmet, so...
Right.
He's smart enough to wear a helmet.
Mando is, but Pedro Pascal is not. I don't know if you remember in between.
Yes.
This is we're almost done here, so this is we can put this in or take it out. But I don't know if you remember in between the season breaks, Pedro Pascal almost didn't come back for this season because he wanted more time with his helmet off, and the showrunners were like, Pedro, do you understand what the Mandalorian code says? It says that he is not allowed to take off his helmet. And do you remember what you told that lady, the cute one who wanted you to stay, but you decided not to? You told her that you never took off your helmet. So, Pedro, how are we supposed to take off your helmet if you literally have never taken off your helmet for 20 years?
I think it's gonna. I think that's gonna happen though.
Yeah.
I think his interaction with Bo-Katan, where he realized that his sect of Mandalorians was probably fairly radical.
Right.
And that not all Mandalorians actually follow that creed. It's just his sect.
Especially if he meets Sabine.
Yes.
Especially if they bring back oh my goodness, why did I just completely blank on his name? From the original movies. Oh my goodness.
Boba?
Yes, thank you. That was terrible. Can we pull that out, please?
No, that's staying in later. In fact, okay, I might repeat it a couple times.
Put some little techno flashing lights. Yeah. Okay. So, let's try this again. So, especially if they bring back Sabine, especially if we spend more time with Bo-Katan, especially if they bring back Boba Fett, and Mando realizes that, Boba Fett, who wasn't born on Mandalore, just like me, and who was kind of learned the teachings just like me, he's almost a foundling, but not really, is okay not only not wearing the helmet, but also not wearing Beskar at all times.
Yeah.
You know, and like you said last episode, where you feel like the Mandalorians that Din Djarin is from are potentially Death Watch.
Yes.
And he finds out who Death Watch is and how kind of dark side they are.
I mean, they followed Maul for a while.
Right. That, and they led a revolt on Mandalore.
Yep. That
could cause him to take off his helmet.
Yeah.
You know, and kind of, or maybe not fully all the time like Bo-Katan and Sabine do, but certainly like in casual settings.
And definitely in front of Grogu.
I think so. I think it's gonna be a either that, or he's never going to take it off, and that's going to be his way of kind of splitting from Grogu so that he can go get trained.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I could see it going either way.
I don't care.
Right.
Honestly, I mean, I love Pedro Pascal, but I love this character that he's portraying, and I love the way that they make him expressive without showing his face. It's great. They're doing a fantastic job.
Yep. So do you have any last bits to add?
I think I talked my own ear off. So. Okay,
great. Well, I'm good. I think we pretty much did everything we need to do. So I'm gonna do this real quick. And nope, not one end, ! End. There we go. So we'll edit some of this out, of course. But hey, thank you so much for sticking around for the Temple of the Nerds podcast this week. I'm DJ. Let's try
TJ?
that again. I'm DJ, and this is T-Bills.
And I'm T-Bills.
Oh boy. All right, let's try this again. Thank you so much for sticking around for this week's episode of the Temple of Nerds podcast. I'm D-Bills.
I'm TJ. I'm sorry.
And please feel free to follow us at twitter.com/Temple of Nerds, at Temple Nerds for those of you who do Twitter the right way. Check us out, twitch.tv/Temple of Nerds. We're going to start streaming over there pretty soon, maybe 1 or 2 more episodes here, and then we're going to switch on over there. We also have a Discord channel. The link is in chat, and it'll be on our YouTube as well. Please feel free to hang out, stick around, chat us up, let us know what you want to hear in future episodes. Thank you for stopping by.
All right. Good night, everybody.